Hi, pup. How you doing? Yeah. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Got something that might be interesting for you. It's a 2006 Chevy Silverado. The customer's complaint is that he can't put gas in it. Guess he goes to the pump and he squeezes the handle and it just immediately shuts off. He has to just dribble it in a little bit at a time. So I think it's probably got a fuel tank vent problem, but we're gonna tear into it and try to figure it out. I'm gonna move through this one pretty quickly because I am just buried. I got a Miller welder here, needs some wiring repairs. Still got the Oliver crawler in about 1,000,000 pieces. There's an R model Mac out there. He had a bad day, put the fan through the radiator. There'll be a video about that one. Anyway, I'm fixing grain trucks and stuff left and right. They're in the middle of harvest and it's just absolute bedlam here. Well, I suspect that we have a vent solenoid problem with this truck. Pulled the codes out of it, and it does have one evap code right there, P0446 for evap vent system performance, so that's a pretty good clue. And then his other complaint was that the temperature control for the heat doesn't work. You slide the little lever down and it stays hot, and then all of a sudden it goes cold, or it stays cold and all of a sudden it goes hot. We do have a code here, B0408, temperature control 1 circuit malfunction. So it may need a blend door actuator, or there may be something else going on there. Looks like there's also some codes here for a right front wheel speed sensor and some other ABS stuff. And I don't know, I think that's about it. Anyway, let's check out this fuel tank. I guess he bought this truck on an auction, like an estate sale. And it is mint. Let's see if I've got the right adapter for that. That's the Chrysler one. Guess we can try the old easy intake. Oh, that's not gonna work. Well, I don't have an adapter for this one, so we're gonna go old school. Well, that answers that. The fuel tank's definitely holding pressure, so it probably does have a bad canister vent valve. It's kind of weird though, because the vent valve is normally open, and usually when they fail open. It's kind of unusual for it to fail closed. Alright folks, here's the charcoal canister. It lives underneath the truck in front of the fuel tank. Its purpose is to store the evaporative emissions from the gas tank. It has 3 connections. This one here comes from the gas tank to the bottom. That's going to allow the vapors from the gas tank to come into the canister. There's a line here at the top that goes out to the vent solenoid. That's going to allow air to come into the charcoal canister, or in the case of fueling, to come out of the charcoal canister. And then this right here is the purge line that runs all the way up to the engine bay, to the purge valve, and then when the purge valve opens, it allows the evaporative emissions to go into the intake and be burned up by the engine just like any other kind of gas. Anyway, I've attached a little line here to the inlet side of the charcoal canister, and I'm just going to blow on this. Maybe if I can get this hose to cooperate. And I cannot blow through the charcoal canister. I've already got the vent valve disconnected, so yeah, the restriction is not the canister vent valve, it is the charcoal canister itself. So yeah, this truck needs a canister, which is pretty crazy because it only has 52,000 miles on it. But yeah, I think it spent a lot of time sitting around, and yeah. I guess that's all it needed to destroy the charcoal canister. So inside here is a bunch of little activated charcoal beads, kind of jam-packed in there. Yeah, I'm saying it needs a canister. I'm just checking the wheel speed sensors real quick. So here's the left front. Looks normal. Now the right front. Nothing. So it's got a bad wheel speed sensor on the right front. You guys won't believe this, but I actually have a used wheel speed sensor. The lead is a little bit different, but the actual sensor itself I think is the same. If you look at the business end here. Well, normally I can't do stuff like this because everything's so rusty, but this truck is so clean, we're getting away with all kinds of stuff. So I just got a ball and hex key. I can reach right down through the backing plate and install the sensor. Alright, let's test that, see if it works. Well, that's interesting. Doesn't work. Okay. Glad we tried that. You know, sometimes things just don't make sense. And the beauty of owning my own business is that when that happens, I can take a step back, kind of put it on the shelf for a while, think about it, and then circle back around and tackle the problem again, hopefully with a clear mind and a little bit different perspective. So what are the chances that we have two bad wheel speed sensors? Probably about 0, right? But I still went ahead and bought a brand new AC Delco wheel speed sensor. It's right there in case we need it, but I don't think we're going to need it, and I'll show you why. Okay, this is the original wheel speed sensor, reinstalled, and it's hooked up to channel 1. See the signal? It's there. Let's try 2 volts per division. Got that kind of triangular shape. Pretty normal for a 2-wire reluctance sensor. Now what I'm going to do is take the second channel and we're just going to piggyback it right on top of the first channel. So these 2 channels are now connected in parallel onto the same wheel speed sensor. Alright, same test on the scope. Let's see what happens. Well, let's see. Gotta go up in voltage right there. What happened to our signal? This is the exact same test, except this time I replaced the channel 2 probe with the probe off of another scope that I have. Now you see we've got our signal back, and channel 1 and channel 2 match each other perfectly. Isn't this fun? Long story short, this truck does not have a bad right front wheel speed sensor. I have a bad test lead. I think it's shorted internally and it's just pulling the signal to ground all the time. Now this is a big problem. If you can't trust your test equipment, then how can you make an accurate diagnosis? Part of diagnosing a problem is testing things and determining that they're good, and if it's good, you move on to the next thing, trying to find the thing that's bad. And if you can't trust the test equipment to tell you something's good, then it casts doubt on your entire diagnostic process. So I'm going to throw these in the trash, and I'm going to buy some new test leads, probably from AES Wave. I like the Handtech scope, but these leads are also made by Handtech and they are apparently completely junk. Alright, enough of this nonsense. I reinstalled the sensor using both of the original shims. I did scrape off the rust from the top of the wheel bearing, put a little bit of fluid film on it. That should be fine. I'm kind of thinking, you see right here, the owner installed some new shocks just before he brought the truck over. And that connector for the wheel speed sensor is right there by that upper shock mount. So I wonder if he didn't unplug that when he was doing the shocks. That would explain our code. So I'll have to ask him about that, but I don't think there's anything wrong on the wheel end. I went ahead and back probed the connector right here at the ABS pump and checked the signal. It's good all the way back to the pump, so I don't think we have a wheel speed sensor issue. I don't know what caused those codes, but yeah, I can't find anything wrong. Our new charcoal canister showed up this morning right from the mothership. It's actually only about $5 more expensive than the aftermarket. Made in the USA. Here we go. Oh yeah. That's what it should do. Let's get that installed. It looks like all you gotta do is pop this little bracket off here. We'll see how that goes. Good so far. Alright, I did take out the vent valve just because I thought it might make it a little bit easier to install the canister. Didn't seem to really matter. I also put a little bit of grease on each of these quick disconnect nipples. There it is. Oh, we're done with the charcoal canister. Let me show you guys the rest of the bottom of this truck. This is probably the nicest 2006 pickup truck I've ever worked on. So somebody has rust proofed it. They sprayed it down with something. I don't know if it's Crown or fluid film or the 3M cavity wax, but you see how it has this kind of dusty appearance? That's because of the powder, or the undercoating, that waxy undercoating that they sprayed it with. So it does work. You just have to actually apply it. You see somebody sprayed the inside of the frame. Yeah, it all looks good. No leaks whatsoever on the front differential, which is incredible. A little bit of a leak on the oil pan there. Nothing to worry about. Suspension looks pretty good. Exhaust is in great condition. No leaks on the pinion seal. Yeah, brake lines look solid. Yeah, that brake line's looking a little bit crusty up there, but I mean nothing like what we're used to. See, they even sprayed the inside of the frame. Bottom of the box is in great condition. Those box cross members, great condition. Spare tire, probably never been used. Now somebody's installed airbags on the rear axle. I guess they pulled a trailer or something with this truck. Anyway, this is the cleanest airbag installation I've ever seen in my life. I'll try to show you guys some of the work they did It's beautiful. Loom clamps and, you know, proper routing. Yeah. Good thing I wasn't at this auction. I would have been bidding against him. Looks like the rockers are just starting to go. That little spot right there, that's probably going to be through pretty soon. But I don't know, some cavity wax would probably keep that to a minimum. That little guy right there is the compressor for the airbags, but check out the installation. Got an actual relay. All the wires and air lines are run along the cowl here with loom clamps. They even put some self-tapping screws in to hold them. Got a nice inline fuse holder here. Yeah, I don't know who installed this system, but I approve. Alright, let's see. So we Alright, so we're increasing the purge duty cycle and we're seeing the tank pressure sensor go down. So I'm satisfied. It's working. Beautiful day for a drive. Figure we better check the live data on the wheel speed sensors. Everything looks good to me. Well, I don't see any problems with that. Left side and right side both agree. We don't have any dropouts, so it's good enough. I don't know what caused it to set that code, but in my semi-professional opinion, there's nothing wrong with the right side wheel speed sensor. But Max is not happy that I went for a ride without him. Alright, how about some bonus footage? I got this 2005 Chevy Silverado. It actually belongs to the same guy as the 2006. It's one of my best customers. And the ABS light's on, and it has the same C0040 right front wheel speed sensor circuit fault. So let's see if we can track this one down, try to do a little bit better job this time.